Do you want to improve at a quicker pace? Check out GITGUDRacing.com.
Don't drop.
Hundreds of drivers, from real-life racers to sim enthusiasts, who experience rapid improvement after just one session. And while investing in top-notch hardware is great, imagine how much more you can elevate your experience by adding coaching to the mix. My methods are practical, aiming to break down complex concepts into easily digestible bits that are simple to understand. You can find reviews of the sessions I've conducted on the Fiverr link provided in the video description. Let's elevate your racing skills together. Now for the track guide. For turn 1, first of all you want to use all the track around here. So aligning myself so that my tires are not on this curb when I'm braking. So basically I'm taking this curb between the left side and the right side of the car. Now in terms of braking point, it's the middle of the curb, but you can also use this text here. The moment that you're not gonna see the letters on the left side, you're gonna apply the brakes. Whatever works for you. You need to do a late apex into this corner. Don't brake very hard. I'm going to third gear and it's important to apex as late as you can here. So for example, you see this curb in the beginning, you want to turn later than you think, because if you're gonna hit the curb, let's say around this part, you will run out of track. So you want to have as late as you can, the apex as late as you can while going into this corner, almost at the finish of that blue part of the curve, then putting the power down as vertical as you can, and you're gonna use all this track on the exit if you're gonna do that. For the next corner, I'm braking at the whenever I'm under the bridge, so under the bridge braking, and it's the same thing, going to third gear and apexing as late as you can into this corner, so delaying the turning point, delaying, and at this point I'm apexing, putting the power down very vertical up, and you can go a bit wider. However, there's a small margin. If you will arrive with the left tires almost at the end of the blue, you will get the off track, so you can't use all the curb here. Very tricky to play this off track limit, but you will cut here as much as you can on this part. This won't be an off track. And now for the next corner, I'm not positioning my car here on this green part of the curve, because you will just travel a longer distance going all the way to the right to open up this one. It's not needed, you can still take it flat from this angle. You will try though to apex late, just so that you will not end up on this part. So if you will go apexing a bit earlier in that corner, even though you will still make the corner and you will use all the exit here, it's not the best line. Because if you're gonna apex way too early, you will cover a longer distance and you won't make up the time that you lose by covering a longer distance with taking up an early apex. That's not gonna happen. So don't use all this space here. You will also use less steering angle, so that's perfectly fine. Now for this corner, you want to use all the track at turn in, because in this corner you will have to slightly brake. So excuse me. So I'm aligning myself so my right tires are on the white line, and here at this 6 and this Marshall post here with the number 6, I'm applying the brakes and I'm turning and I'm trailing lower percentages, and whenever I'm going uphill, let's say it's a slight elevation change, I'm maintaining the 5th gear until the engine feels like it's choked. So I'm approaching, and when I put the power down here, I give it 4th gear, just to have more RPMs, just to be able to carry the speed, because you will go uphill this part. And 5th gear is not gonna be enough. I mean, you can take it in 5th gear, but you're gonna lose time. Now, going into this heavy braking zone, because it's a heavy braking zone, you don't want to... Let me lower the volume. Because it's a heavy braking zone, you don't want to use this curbing. You don't want to use it because it will mess up your braking performance, just because of this elevation changes. The tire is doing this, and you're trying to brake. You're not making contact at all times with the tarmac. So brake on the white line and brake at the 100 meter board. I brake slightly past it, which is a bit of a mistake because I'm using here 100%. I'm overheating the tires more than it needed. I need it. So brake at the 100, still brake very hard, and apex very late, almost at the end of this green curbing. Cut as much as you can. You will be positioned on this part, and now for these corners, this is a flat out corner, but the same thing, you want to apex as late as you can. And for this corner, this is the corner in which I'm purposely pushing the car more to the right, around here, so that the left side of the car will still be on the white line, because it's like the previous two corners ago, whenever we had that right-hander and we want to go uphill and we used 4 gears, the same thing here. You just want to barely brake, so it's like 8% braking and then putting the power down. So because you're not braking very hard, you can use that curbing. Missed a bit the apex, but it's not a big deal. Now the moment that I'm aligning myself the car and the steering wheel is straight, that's the moment that I brake here. So that's my braking point. You want to apex again very late at the end of the curve, so it's the same theme, apex at the end of the green curve. Now this corner here is just a lift and then go back. It will give you enough grip. I'm using the fixed setup, by the way. And for this corner, what I'm using as a reference for braking is this orange part of the wall. Whenever I see just about like that, so I see a bit of the wall, but I still completely see the orange, I'm applying the brakes, I'm using all the track, using third gear. And important here to cut these curbs, cut both of them as much as you can, so go over them, it's possible with a fixed setup, putting the power down, and again try to go as close as you can to this green curb. This one is gonna be flat out. And for the last corner, I'm using as a reference for braking this pit entry part. So whenever I'm almost in seeing the pit perfectly, but I don't see the left part of it, whenever I'm in this position where I'm still can see this part of the pit entry, I'm applying the brakes, and I don't use this track on the right side to open up, just because it's a corner, and after this it's a long straight. I really want to have good braking performance into this corner. I want to prioritize it, and I want to sacrifice a bit the entry so I'll have a better exit. Apexing again very late around this curve and putting the power down to 100%. And that's a track guide for next week in F4.